When Lucy Thomas stepped onto the Voice Kids UK stage, her raw, powerful voice stunned the nation and instantly set her apart from other young performers. In just minutes, she captured the hearts of audiences and coaches alike. Then, just as quickly as she rose, she seemed to fade from the spotlight. This is not a story of scandal or sudden downfall, but one of quiet resilience and deliberate choices. What truly happened behind the scenes to the angelic voice that once stopped a nation? The sudden disappearance. Lucy Thomas's journey on The Voice Kids UK was marked by an almost immediate and dramatic disappearance from public view after her semi-final performance. For someone whose voice had stopped the entire nation and captivated coaches, audiences, and media alike, the sudden silence took many by surprise. The expectation was that Lucy's star would rise quickly through television appearances, live shows, or at the very least, official recordings. Instead, after the night of the semi-final, no further official updates or public appearances materialized, creating a vacuum filled with speculation. This unusual silence was especially striking because Lucy had received some of the highest praise the show could offer. Coaches called her an angel, and critics believed she had a rare vocal gift that should have propelled her into stardom. Yet, despite the buzz and digital sharing of her performances that amassed hundreds of thousands of views, she seemingly vanished without a clear explanation. Viewers and fans were left wondering why such a promising talent would step back. Rumors began to swirl. Tabloids speculated whether the show had intentionally favored other contestants with more mainstream pop appeal, sidelining a classical singer in a competition dominated by commercial interests. Some whispered that the industry itself might be unprepared or unwilling to embrace a voice so distinct in a youth-centered format. The mystery deepened as media outlets pressed for answers, but none were forthcoming. Most baffling was the contrast between Lucy's immense talent and the absence of any promotional support or career push afterward. While many young performers use television exposure as a launchpad, Lucy did not follow this familiar path. This silence was not just about a lack of new music or videos, it was a total withdrawal from all platforms and media engagements. To the public, it seemed the rarest of voices had simply been muted. Beneath this quiet, questions loomed large. Was her disappearance the result of personal choice, industry obstacles, or perhaps something less visible? What had happened between the excitement of the semi-final and the hush that followed? As the silence dragged on, smaller online communities and forums began hunting for clues, piecing together fragments of information that rarely led to definitive answers. The more time passed with no news, the more the silence became a story itself. Fans wondered if Lucy was struggling privately, or if she had made a deliberate decision to retreat from the spotlight. Theories ranged from mental burnout to vocal health issues. Without official confirmation, every guess seemed plausible, fueling a growing curiosity that begged for truth. This unexpected void was all the more puzzling because Lucy's approach to music and fame had always been unconventional. Even during her rise, she demonstrated a level of maturity and independence that suggested she might not conform to typical industry pressures. Still, no one anticipated that her departure would be so swift and absolute. Ultimately, Lucy's sudden disappearance was not simply a gap in fame, it was a turning point, signaling that there was much more to her story than met the eye. The hints of struggle and resistance beneath the surface promised a revelation that only time would bring. Yet the world was left waiting, stunned by the silence where once there had been such a powerful voice. As the mystery thickened, looking back at Lucy's early promise and unique talent helps illuminate why her absence felt so startling and left so many searching for answers. Early promise and unique talent. From the very first moment Lucy Thomas sang on The Voice Kids UK in 2018, it was clear she was unlike any contestant before her. At just 14 years old, she chose a classical aria, Puccini's Nessun Dorma, a daring move in a competition mostly filled with pop songs. Her voice was not only powerful but refined beyond her years, capturing attention by commanding the stage with an operatic control rarely heard in young singers. The entire hall fell silent, and all three coaches turned their chairs almost instantly, a visual testament to her extraordinary talent. Lucy's choice to perform classical pieces, rather than trending pop hits, wasn't about trying to fit into the mainstream. When asked why, she simply said, "This is where I find myself." That statement carried weight, signaling a young artist already clear about her identity and sound. Coaches and critics alike recognized something rare, a voice suited for grand opera houses, not just talent shows. Danny Jones of McFly described her as an angel in real life, while Pixie Lott said her voice belonged at the Royal Opera House rather than a children's competition. Lucy's singing in the whole competition was nothing short of miracle. She used every aspect of her artistry, like breathing, technicality, precision, and the emotional feeling expressing, to give a performance one could not expect from a teen. During the battle rounds, Lucy's performance of "You Raise Me Up" became a highlight of the competition, both showing and sharing the human emotions of fragility and power. The duet of "The Prayer" she performed in the semi-finals, which was originally sung by Andrea Bocelli and Celine Dion, was said to be amazing and miraculous by the audience, and it got hundreds of thousands of views online. Although she received a lot of compliments, Lucy's road in the contest was not easy. Her unique style of singing and doing classical music made her different, but at the same time, it was difficult to get a spot in the final round, which was believed to be partly due to the producers favoring the contestants who were more commercially attractive. Lucy's case brought up discussions about whether or not the traditional talent shows are really fair for all genres, or if they mainly support pop-oriented performances. This brought forward the debate between pure artistic talent and the demands of entertainment market. Lucy was almost out of the competition before the show even started. Her family, with her mother Diana Thomas being the most concerned, were apprehensive that a publicly seen contest will be too much for Lucy. It was a vocal coach who saw the talent in Lucy that he supported her in taking the challenge, and he made it so that the stage was not the end of her career but rather trial to see how far she could go. Lucy's careful but assured stance predicted the anxiousness about her future career choice that would later overlap. Audience was captivated not only by her performances but also by her song choices and her way of singing, which made her different at the same time. She was not after the popularity of a pop star, she was rather carving an authentic place for herself that was in line with her personal values and musical tastes. This authenticity was a double-edged sword. She declined offers from major record labels and instead decided to pursue her music career independently. This decision was heavily influenced by her family, particularly her mother Diana, who took on the unofficial role of managing Lucy's career. Diana handled everything from logistics to communications, creating a close-knit support system without the machinery of a traditional professional team. Choosing independence was not just about resisting the glare of mainstream fame, it was about control and preserving the authenticity of Lucy's artistry. The family prioritized her well-being and growth over rapid success, encouraging her to continue her education and develop on her own terms. This meant foregoing the typical industry path of aggressive marketing and media exposure. In 2019, Lucy began sharing cover videos filmed at home, teaching herself video editing using free software and uploading content to YouTube regularly. Her covers, including Hallelujah and Somewhere, went viral, reaching hundreds of thousands of viewers within days. These simple, unsophisticated videos stood out because of the contrast between her youthful appearance and the profound depth of her voice. This grassroots approach extended to releasing her debut album, Premiere, in 2020 under Cavendish Records, an independent UK label specialising in classical crossover music. Recorded in a modest Manchester studio, the album consisted mainly of well-known covers like Time to Say Goodbye and I Will Always Love You. Despite no major marketing push, Premiere found its way into classical playlists on Spotify and Amazon Music, earning praise from bloggers and fans alike. Lucy's second album, Encore, saw her experimenting further, notably by covering Nessun Dorma, a piece traditionally sung by male tenors. The choice provoked mixed reactions, with some critics calling it a break from opera tradition. Lucy responded firmly on Instagram, emphasizing that music is about emotion, not gender, and if she felt a song, she would sing it. This boldness reflected her independent spirit and artistic integrity. Her songwriting debut came with Encore as well, featuring melodies that were simple but carried a melancholic introspection. Collaborations with producer John Cohen, known for working with Katherine Jenkins, raised the production quality, yet Lucy retained her hands-on approach, avoiding promotional campaigns and prioritizing genuine connections over hype. The family's cautious strategy also included turning down an offer from a major American record label after Premier's success. They felt Lucy needed time to mature and complete her schooling before navigating the complexities of international expansion. Lucy echoed this sentiment in a live stream, saying she needed time to grow and figure out what she truly wanted from her career. This independent route was unusual in today's fast-paced music industry, especially for a young talent propelled to national attention by television. But it allowed Lucy to develop according to her own values, shielded from pressure and external demands. Her story proves that success can take many forms, with patience and family support often playing a crucial role. The foundation laid by her family's influence and decision to remain independent set the stage for the next phase of Lucy's career, where her digital presence and viral success would sustain her evolving journey. This quieter digital presence would soon reveal just how far Lucy was willing to go on her own terms. Online presence and viral covers. After stepping back from the televised spotlight, Lucy Thomas took control of her musical journey by embracing the digital world in an entirely self-managed way. Without a professional team or major label backing, she began recording cover songs at home, teaching herself video editing using free software, and uploading performances to her personal YouTube channel. This DIY approach allowed her to connect directly with audiences, offering authenticity rarely seen in polished industry productions. By 2019, Lucy's simple, heartfelt covers were striking a chord far beyond her small town of Wigan. Her renditions of Hallelujah and Somewhere caught fire online, rapidly accumulating hundreds of thousands of views. What set these videos apart was the contrast between Lucy's youthful, innocent appearance and the astonishing emotional depth and power of her voice. Viewers were captivated by a rawness that felt intimate and unfiltered, creating a sense of genuine vulnerability behind the screen. Unlike typical music videos with elaborate sets or choreography, Lucy's videos featured just her voice and semi-professional backing tracks. This stripped-down style became her signature, focusing all attention on her vocal tone and interpretation. The lack of distractions invited listeners to experience the music purely, revealing a maturity and sincerity that her growing fanbase deeply appreciated. It demonstrated that talent and connection could thrive without the trappings of traditional media hype. In 2020, Lucy debuted with her first album, Premier, via Cavendish Records, which is a UK-based independent label focusing on classical crossover. The album was recorded without a planned media campaign and a large marketing budget at a studio in Manchester. Thus the album featured well-known covers like Time to Say Goodbye and I Will Always Love You. Although Premiere had a quiet release, it gradually ended up on the recommended playlists of Spotify and Amazon Music, which retrieved attention from classical reviewers and new audience members who were after something real and emotionally touching. To continue its success, Lucy's second album, Encore, spoke of her experimenting nature. She performed the aria Nessun Dorma, which is extremely difficult and traditionally sung by male tenors, thus making a bold statement about artistic liberty. Some critics labeled this move as offensive toward opera, but Lucy was undeterred and even replied on Instagram that music is beyond gender. Her strong belief gained her fans who respected her for her daring to break the norms and for sharing the music in her own way. Encore was a bridge between Lucy's previous works and her future ones, because it was an album that asserted the artist's musical growth. The listeners were provided with some simple yet hurtful original melodies. Along with the producer John Cohen, who is known for his collaboration with acclaimed classical artist Katherine Jenkins, Lucy was able to uplift her sound with more the orchestral arrangements incorporating strings and classical piano. Even though the production was more sophisticated, Lucy still stuck to her home recording and avoided the loud marketing campaigns, thus being loyal to her intuitive and quality over quantity approach. Standard music industry formulas were not adopted by her, thus showing a creative independence that is rarely found in young artists coming out of reality TV. By being genuine and producing consistently, Lucy gradually created a fanbase that not only liked her music but also preferred her hissy fit over the mainstream. This community, from all her musical activities and plans that she had slowly but steadily built through her independent efforts. For a young artist who was just starting to make her mark, This was an overwhelming setback threatening not only her career but also her very identity as a singer that was rooted in the connection to the audience. Lucy talked about her emotional state being affected by the injury to her voice. She confessed fearing that she might never get her old voice back.